At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in to Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. Live from Chicago, I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla. We are on the air until 3 Eastern. You can call or text us today at 310-840-4910. A lot of football to get to today, Abdalla. Mike Golic Jr. will join this show, and we will talk about A.J. Brown. Where will he be traded in just moments? We do have to update people listening to this show each and every day. We appreciate you joining us noon to 3 Eastern here on Westwood One Sports. Today in the studio, another hot day.
Day two.
It's hot.
Day two.
The current situation, we broadcast live from the Cumulus Studios in downtown Chicago in the NBC5 tower. The AC is out.
Yeah.
Back-to-back days now. Today, hotter than the last.
Yeah.
It is. If we were joking yesterday, it was like one of those nights where you have just one sheet.
Yeah.
You got to stick the leg out.
No sheet today.
Today it would be both legs would be hanging out.
You know,
Ooh, baby.
You know, in what is it, The Shining, when
Yes.
the elevator doors open and the blood gets out on a certain floor.
Yes, it gets out.
When the elevator doors opened and I got off the elevator,
you got hit with heat.
I got hit in the face like I walked into a sauna, and it is insane. I'm on Amazon right now.
Okay.
And I'm looking at a pair of pants that convert to shorts because eventually, like, we're in Chicago and I know the weather is going to turn. It's 75 right now-ish.
Okay.
So, like, you could wear shorts to work if you wanted to. You could.
Yeah.
You could. It's not. It's a little cold.
Chilly in the morning.
It's a little chilly. Like, I'm wearing like golf pants right now.
Yeah.
So, like, it's fine.
I've rolled mine up.
And I want to know. I'm gonna ask.
I look like I have boy capris on.
Yeah, man prees.
That's
man
what
prees.
Well, yeah, little boy,
I like to call
boy
those.
pants.
I like to call those shants.
Okay,
they're not
all right.
shorts. They're not pants. I like to call them shants.
So, are you buying? You're buying pants?
I would like to buy them
off?
for the group. I would like to buy them for you and me. I'd like to ask our fearless leader, Armin Williams, if I can expense these and add them to an expense report. I found a pair for $35. They would get here by the end of this week. Or I could get them faster if I pay for shipping on Amazon. I don't like to pay for shipping on Amazon because usually it's free.
Yes,
but
right.
they are cargo, so they do have extra pockets. But I remember that these were popular when we were like
Oh, yeah.
Like freshmen or sophomores in high school.
You could zip off the lower part of the pants.
They zipped off right around the knee.
They turned into shorts.
And they turned into, you turn them into shorts. So in the morning, you'd be warm, and then you'd be like, guess what? Shorts time.
Did Old Navy feature those back in the day?
Everybody had them.
I know they had the performance fleece.
They did.
They also had that. Okay, all right. So it's a hot day. If you watch us on YouTube, Bleck Abdalla Show on YouTube,
I'm glistening.
You'll notice there is we look like we're sweating in the studio today. Like it is
glistening.
Definitely. Yesterday I thought it was warm. Today it's worse.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that people are on board with what's happening here.
I am glistening.
It's Bleck Abdalla hanging out with you until 3 Eastern on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Patriots GM Elliott Wolf spoke to the media yesterday, Abdalla, and this is important because one of the major storylines in the NFL here in this offseason is with wide receiver A.J. Brown and the Eagles. Will the Philadelphia Eagles trade A.J. Brown? And what will that look like? When will that happen? And who is a team that should step up to the plate and trade for A.J. Brown? You and I have discussed this for weeks. We think the Patriots would be the perfect place to place A.J. Brown for a trade.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you look at the AFC, the rest of the AFC, and what the Patriots have done, and yes, they added Romeo Doubs, and he's a decent wide receiver. He's very reliable, has a lot of catches, all that good stuff. But the Patriots really don't have a true number one reliable wide receiver. And if you look at A.J. Brown, yes, he only had 7 touchdowns, but there was a lot of problems with that offense, and it was highlighted by the hit piece that we call it a hit piece that was done to the Eagles and mostly to...
That's the way it read.
Yeah, to Jalen Hurts.
Just trashing Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, last week by ESPN and sources from inside the building to Jalen Hurts and calling him out for changing the offense a lot of times, for calling out different routes that they didn't really practice. And a lot of it, we thought that the problem was A.J. Brown, and really a lot of it was probably both. Like, it's not 100% A.J. Brown. It's not 100% Jalen Hurts. It's probably a mixture of both. And I would say that a fresh start for A.J. Brown would benefit both parties. And if you go to the Patriots, you've got Josh McDaniels as your offensive coordinator, who's one of the best offensive coordinators in the NFL. And you've got Drake May, who's an MVP candidate last year. And if you pair those two together, and I think in the AFC, the Bills got better. They're the favorite, one of the favorites to win the AFC. They're the favorite to win the AFC East right now. The Patriots are the second favorites to win the AFC East. You've got the Ravens, who are the favorites to win the AFC. They got better because they added Trey Hendrickson. And you still have the Chiefs are still looming. You've got the Bengals that are still there. You've got the Broncos, who added Jalen Waddle. Like, the Patriots, besides adding Romeo Doubs and a couple other pieces, like, you haven't really made that big step to say, hey, we lost the Super Bowl. We were AFC champions. We need to make that next big jump to say we are going to make another run at a Super Bowl, add that next superstar. We have the room. We have the cap space. You have the pick to do it. We talked to Frank Schwab yesterday, and he told us that in this draft, you're not drafting an A.J. Brown at 31. Use that 31st pick and trade for A.J. Brown. So I believe that it would be in the Patriots' best interest to use that, whether it's before the draft or it's probably financially in the interest of the Eagles to do it after June 1st. You could probably, I don't know if you have to do it now and then announce it afterwards, or, make the draft picks and then move them afterwards, whatever it works out for the Eagles and the Patriots better. But the point is, the Eagles need to move A.J. Brown. The Patriots need to add A.J. Brown. Make it happen.
Yeah, and when I look at this situation with Philly, it's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. The one thing that I'm starting to think about is if A.J. Brown's a problem, if Jalen Hurts is a problem, everyone's a problem. Where isn't some of that blame go to Nick Sirianni? Come on. Is it really always the players' issues to why things have happened this way? Because the piece that was released 2 weeks ago about Jalen Hurts did come across as if people who are on the coaching staff are just upset with Jalen Hurts and the way he approaches his business. But it does also feel like there was conflict with A.J. Brown throughout this season. So where's the heat on Sirianni?
I don't think there should be heat on Sirianni. I understand.
But when it's always the players' issue.
I understand your point.
Why is there no one pointing that right back at Sirianni? Like, is he really that great of a head coach?
I understand your point.
He deserves no blame?
I get your point. But Sirianni gets results. It's not like this team is finishing third in their division or second in their division and missing the playoffs and having these issues. This team just won a Super Bowl. This team just...
They won a Super Bowl without Sirianni. Isn't the response that Howie Roseman gets results?
I get that.
And that you can kind of interchange with the head coaches?
But this team not only won a Super Bowl, they stuffed the Chiefs into a locker and they might have broken them. Like, they might have broken the Chiefs. And, like, they haven't been the same team since that game. So I think this is a different... Like if Sirianni were to be fired today, he would be hired in an instant. This isn't a guy
I don't know about that.
Takes. I don't think this is a guy that has to take a year off from coaching because he isn't picked up or has to go and be a coordinator. I think this is a guy that is hired instantly.
The only reason why that case could be supported from you is because Kevin Stefanski immediately got a new job. Didn't accomplish anything with Cleveland.
Well, yeah.
He immediately got a new job. So your point is true. I don't necessarily view Sirianni in that light, but you're right. If he was available as a head coach when all the positions were open, then yeah, he likely would have gotten a job because Kevin Stefanski immediately got a job.
Dude, look at the guys that got jobs this cycle. I take Stefanski over half of these guys.
Well, that's
Jeff
the point.
Hafley got a job.
Well, exactly.
You wouldn't take Sirianni over Hafley?
I think some blame should be headed towards Sirianni for the way that all of this has gone.
I understand that the head coach...
You can't always blame the players.
I understand. And like the head coach, the blame goes to the leader. And I understand that. But the fact of the matter is, he's a good head coach. I almost said great. I don't know if I'm putting him into that category. He does have a Super Bowl ring. I mean, it's hard to win.
Okay. Didn't Frank Wright win a Super Bowl with the Eagles?
Yes.
Does he not get into your same category? The illustrious, this guy's a great coach. He'd get a job immediately?
Okay, he might not, but I put Sirianni into a different category than that.
Let's see.
Sirianni keeps on winning.
Okay.
He keeps winning the division.
That's my response.
He keeps winning.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So with that situation with A.J. Brown and the Eagles, we focus now on the New England Patriots. Elliot Wolf, GM of the Patriots, yesterday met with the media, and he was asked about A.J. Brown. Take a listen to this.
You guys keeping the door open with the Eagles for A.J. Brown?
No Gonzalez update other than I'll continue to publicly say that we want Christian here. And again, he's under contract, so we would expect that. But as far as players on other teams, again, going to keep the door open to anything that we think may improve our roster, whether that's with the player you mentioned or other players.
So that was Elliot Wolf. I don't think a GM could say anything other than what he just said. And it's important because the Patriots obviously would be a great landing spot for A.J. Brown. But when you're in that position as the GM of a team, you can't talk about other players on other teams. And you're not going to say, yeah, we're trying to trade for him. That's just not how it's going to work. So that answer from Elliot Wolf, yeah, makes sense. And the Patriots should look at A.J. Brown, and they should make a trade because that would put the Patriots in the next level, in the next category of teams trying to get back to the Super Bowl. It seems like everyone else in the AFC, they've made a splashy move here in this offseason to get better. The Patriots have yet to do so. A.J. Brown would be that move for the Patriots.
Well, with A.J. Brown and the Patriots, we're kind of in the Aaron Rodgers Steelers category here, like in that territory.
The old wait and see?
Well, and also, I haven't heard another team mentioned. Like, what other team has been mentioned around A.J. Brown?
There was we broke down like 6 landing spots. NFL Network had like 6 landing spots.
Potential.
Yeah,
but
right.
there weren't rumors. Like there's been ties to this. Like,
it was like the
there's
Chargers,
been connections.
Buffalo. There were a few teams
but
that
there's
were
a distinct
that were on the
connection
list.
between A.J. Brown and Mike Vrabel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like that is like
Tennessee.
He used to play for Mike Vrabel. So there's a distinct connection. The other teams, there weren't really any connections. It was just like the money works, the trade value works. Like that's a slight connection there. This is a distinct connection. This seems like an inevitable thing that is going to happen, just like the way we talk about Aaron Rodgers inevitably signing with the Steelers at some point, whether he wants to participate in off-season activities or not, and he's waiting until June or sometime this week before the draft so they know what they're going to do in the draft, or maybe he's told them what he is going to do and they're just not announcing it until June. This seems like it's inevitable and it's going to happen. We just don't, maybe they are waiting until after June because it's financially more beneficial for the Eagles if they wait until after June 1st, because then the Patriots can eat more of the money than the Eagles will.
I would imagine, though, the most opportune time to use the leverage to conduct this trade would be before the draft.
For the draft capital, yes.
Yeah, right.
Financially, no, though, because
wouldn't you want to maximize the draft capital that you could get back for a player like this? And even though maybe you can't get a first-round pick for A.J. Brown, you certainly can get a 2 and more. If Buffalo could trade a 2 for DJ Moore, A.J. Brown's a better wide receiver than DJ Moore. So you could certainly get a 2, a high 2, if not something more for A.J. Brown.
It depends on how Howie Roseman views this draft, right? If you're going off of what we've been told by draft analysts, especially what Frank Schwab told us yesterday and what other analysts were reading, is that this is not a very decent draft compared to other drafts, especially to next year's draft, right? If they wait until after the draft and do this post June 1st, if you get a first round pick next season, and let's say it's from the Patriots, and the Patriots think they're going to be 31 or 32 next season, a first round pick next year is way more valuable than a first round pick this year, because the talent next year is better than the talent this year. I would say a second round pick might be more valuable next year than a second round pick this year.
I could see it.
Because even if the Patriots are worse off this year, that's better for the Eagles than if they're a second round pick than it is next year, because the talent is better. So I think either way, the Eagles are going to save money and might get a better draft pick because next year's draft is better than it is this year.
So that was the latest with the Patriots from yesterday. No other information about the head coach that's out there. Reported on yesterday from Elliott Wolf. He was originally scheduled to meet the media. This is in some cover-up from the Patriots where they didn't have Vrabel out there to kind of not have reporters ask the questions about whatever's going on between Vrabel and Diana Rossini from The Athletic. He wasn't scheduled to talk yesterday, and that was a decision made back in March, before any of this stuff became public. So Elliott Wolf addressing the A.J. Brown situation, and they will consider to improve their roster in any way possible. So we'll keep our eyes on that situation, and I think eventually A.J. Brown will be traded. And I'm guessing if he gets traded, it will be to the Patriots. That's where I would put it.
I think so, too. I think it's inevitable, and it makes the most sense. And it would be a massive improvement. I still don't know if I'm putting them ahead of the Bills in the division, though. I still think the Bills might be better.
Yeah, I agree with you, which is surprising to say for a team that just went to the Super Bowl with a young quarterback who's not even in his prime yet.
Oh, absolutely not.
But I think that's why we look at what Buffalo has done here in the offseason, and we think that they will be a title contending team. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Tonight in the NBA, the play-in round begins. We have 2 games, the Heat and the Hornets, and the Blazers and the Suns. We'll talk about the NBA play-in round coming up next.
How high is too high to draft a running back? Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love may be the best player in the NFL draft, but is he a generational talent worth picking in the top 5? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Tonight in the NBA, the play-in round starts. Don't call it the playoffs, Abdalla. The play-in round begins tonight.
Don't tell me my business, devil woman.
The 10th seed. I'm a man. The 10th seed and the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. I get it. It's a reference to Billy Madison. Well done. Congratulations, sir. Heat Hornets, the first matchup, 7:30 Eastern, the 10th seed and the 9th seed in the East. And then the late matchup, 10 o'clock Eastern, Blazers Suns. That's the 8-7 matchup in the Western Conference. So the winner of that game immediately gets slotted in to the 7th seed to face off against the San Antonio Spurs. The first matchup, Hornets Heat, because it's a 10-9 matchup, the loser is eliminated. You're gone. And then the winner then has to fight another day to try and get into the 8th seed. And they will play the loser of the other 8-7 matchup in the East. It's very wordy to explain to someone if they're unaware of how this works.
Loser leaves town. Winner moves on.
Yeah.
Has to win another game.
Yeah.
To then move on.
And then another loser leaves town.
And then another loser leaves town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's the play-in round. Play-in round, NBA playoffs start up over the weekend. You know, the one thing that I think about when it comes to this, Abdalla, and the NBA overall, okay, it's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Are you familiar with this, like, trend that, like, fast food is no longer something that consumers are going to the way they used to? Are you familiar with this? Because the price for fast food is rising.
Oh, it's crazy.
So people are saying, why would I go spend in like one company, you know, just to say, like, there's been news stories about like Wendy's.
Yeah.
Wendy's tried to enter in breakfast, and then the breakfast angle didn't work. And now like their CEO is trying to pivot, and then they're trying to introduce new products. And it's like, but when you go to any of these fast food restaurants, back in the day, it used to be you went because it was good, but it was also cheap, right?
Yeah, it was like $1.
Right. Like, so you would go to these fast food restaurants, whatever it is, whatever your favorite was, because it was a bargain.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you knew it wasn't the best quality,
But
you saved, right?
yeah.
Are you familiar what has happened with Chili's in the last couple of years? There's been a resurgence in Chili's because they realized that if they kept their prices the same and offered the basics that why do you go to Chili's? Margs, unlimited bottomless chips and salsa.
Yeah.
And then they focused on burgers,
They're
right?
Big mouth burgers.
Big mouth burgers, right? And then Chili's, immediately people realize, like, why am I spending X amount of money at a fast food chain
Oh, yeah.
when I can go to Chili's?
Exactly.
And I can accomplish it. That, to me, is the NBA right now. Adam Silver right now is all of these fast food restaurants that are trying to pivot in real time to change and do all these goofy little things to get consumers to stay with them, where in reality, what people want from the NBA is teams that try, players that try, and good competitive basketball.
Yes.
And if you were able to do that, like Chili's has done, where now people who are millennials and Gen Zers, now they love Chili's because it's the basics. It's why you go to Chili's, right? You're not going for like a gourmet, over-the-top, expensive meal.
Yeah.
You're going to Chili's because you want unlimited salsa and chips and margs. That's why you go.
Absolutely.
That to me is the NBA and the situation the NBA is in right now, because Adam Silver, with all these little gimmicks, playing round, in-season tournament, I'm going to change the draft lotto. I'm going to do all this stuff. That to me is a fast food chain trying to chase the consumer who no longer finds it a valuable item to then go to anymore. That's what it is to me.
Here's the problem with this. The problem with what I'm looking at in these matchups is that you've got a team in Charlotte who's got some good young players. Like LaMelo Ball's a good young player, right? Konknippel's a good young player.
Yeah.
And like, this is their rise, right? This is a team that this is their trajectory. They've made the play-in tournament. Next year, hopefully, this is a playoff team. Like, they're not in this situation next year. No one wants to watch the Heat anymore.
Right.
They've been in the play-in tournament.
Except Heat fans.
Every year that the play-in has been in existence, the Heat have been in this situation. It's a joke at this point, right? Like Portland wasn't supposed to be in this situation. Portland was supposed to be horrible. And now they're in this situation. No one wants to watch this. The Suns are going to get killed if they move on. They're going to, whether it's the Spurs or the Thunder, they're going to get killed if they move on. And they're gonna win this game, and they're gonna get killed no matter who they play in the actual playoffs, right? Orlando is probably gonna end up firing their coach at the end of whatever they end up, whether they win or lose. And the Warriors, do you want to see the old Warriors trot out?
No.
With their walkers?
It's a tired story.
Do you want, like,
because they're not competitive anymore.
Does anybody want, out of these 8 teams, besides Charlotte, are any of these teams intriguing?
Well, it's the 2 young teams. It's Charlotte and it's Portland. Charlotte and Portland are built with young players who are coming into their own, and they're not quite there yet.
Portland is ahead of schedule.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
That, to me, is why it's interesting to watch. But Clippers-Warriors is not, because both of those teams are driving on 3 wheels and an empty tank of gas.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look to the Eastern Conference, you're right. Orlando was expected to be really good. They weren't. They were a disappointment this year based on what the projections heading into the season were. And then when you look at the Heat, seeing the same teams in these games each and every year, like, dilutes the interest to it, because all right, Heat culture, Bam got his 80-plus points. Ugh. Cool. Like, no one enjoyed that. And they're just limping into this play-in round, and it's not the payoff for Adam Silver is not like, here's the thing. Is there really anything of stakes to watch tonight outside of Major League Baseball? There isn't. So, like, if you're a baseball fan, you're probably going to watch baseball tonight. If you're someone that just wants to watch high competitive basketball, yeah, you will watch. Like, this isn't a conversation to suggest people will not watch the games in the playoff round. Mm-hmm. It's offered, people will watch it. I just don't understand why it needs to be a thing in the first place. Like, you could easily extend the regular season until Wednesday night and then start the playoffs on Saturday like you used to. Because I know that's going to be the argument. Someone's going to say, Bleck and Abdalla, you guys are idiots. They need something to fill the gap.
Well, they could have just stopped at we're idiots, so.
They need something to fill it. What are they going to do for a week? You just extend the season out.
Yeah.
Everyone complains about rest and being ready for games. Add a couple of more days of rest. Extend the season to Wednesday. You get 2 days off. Playoffs start on Saturday. There is no reason to have these playing games. No. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. Mm-hmm. And if you're a Charlotte Hornet fan or if you're a Portland Trailblazer fan, I get it. Your teams are young. It's kind of fun. You're in it for the first time. That I get that. But if you're a team that has real credentials or a team trying to accomplish something, Phoenix, you have the Clippers, you have the Warriors, the Miami Heat, the Orlando Magic, it's kind of lame.
It is lame.
And that's the way I look at it. That's why, to me, the analogy would be it's like a fast food chain who serves you tacos, late night tacos.
I don't want those.
Well, I want late night tacos. I don't want them serving me breakfast.
No.
Like, do what you do well.
Yeah.
That's what Chili's realized. They do what they do well, and that's why they've improved. And
I also don't want overpriced tacos.
Well, okay, that's fine. You don't want to get good food quickly. I understand what you're doing there. I see it. Mm-hmm. But it's. Do you get my point? Like, it feels like Adam Silver is constantly trying to chase what used to be. When it's like, just offer up the games.
Yeah.
Offer up 82 games, playoffs, 1 through 8 seed, and enough with this side baloney.
Well, and how many people also are going to complain?
And I censored myself by saying baloney.
I know you did. Bologna. I know. How many people do you think are going to complain tonight around, the time that when they go to turn on this game tonight and how they can't find it?
Well, I feel like the league has really conditioned people this year to understand that they have new broadcast partners. So the playing round will be on Prime Video. It is what it is. Maybe people will complain. Maybe they'll complain that's not on NBC. NBC's crushed it this year. I thought Prime's done a pretty good job as well.
I think so too, but to me, this is, I know it's not the playoffs. I know it's the play in, play off, in, off, whatever you want to do, snip, snap, off, in, whatever you want to call it. The fact that your postseason, we can call it the postseason. Is it not the postseason?
It's a playing round.
It's a postseason. Is the season over?
The postseason starts on Saturday.
Is the season over?
The season is over.
So is this postseason?
This is kind of like the debate with the TV show Lost. Were they in purgatory?
They were on an island. Why was there a polar bear?
They were somewhere until the very last episode.
Were they time traveling?
Oh, that's where they were.
I don't think they were in purgatory.
I feel like that's where the NBA season is at right now.
Okay, well, trust me. Why isn't this just on network TV? I feel like I'm old man.
It's on Prime.
I'm old man shaking my fist at the cloud. I should just be able to.
It's very old manish.
I should just be able to turn this on. I shouldn't have to pay extra for this. I shouldn't have to pay extra for postseason TV.
Well,
I shouldn't have to pay extra for postseason NBA basketball. I shouldn't have to pay extra for the postseason.
Here's my problem with this. Isn't every sports conversation back to that exact phrase?
Not for the postseason. Regular season, you do whatever you want to.
We just had the same complaint about the Masters.
That's fine.
On Thursday and Friday. That the early stuff was on
I get it. But that's
subscription.
But the Masters is different. All of your the golf is separate from whatever. Golf is golf. I don't care about golf. I'm talking about team sports. I'm talking about postseason team sports. Postseason team sports should be on network TV all the time.
But they could argue this isn't the playoffs.
It's the postseason. The regular season is over. The postseason has started. Put it on network TV. It's ridiculous that it's not on network TV.
Oh, man, we just aged ourselves.
I don't care.
Put it on network TV.
I don't care that I aged myself.
That's your marching orders to Adam Silver.
Yes, it is.
And you act like you don't have Prime.
I know that
all you do is order things from Amazon.
I'm looking at short
pants.
It's
the only thing that you do.
I'm looking at pants shorts.
Of any of the streaming sites, like that's the one that I really have the least amount of empathy to someone for, because doesn't everybody use Amazon these days?
It's not the point. The point is...
What is the point?
You're trying to expand the game and grow the game and do all this BS with tanking and load management, and your postseason isn't on network TV. Like, the simplest thing. You want to highlight these teams, and your postseason isn't on network TV.
I know. Well,
like all the things you want to do. You tried to add a play-in. You tried to add a stupid cup in the middle of the season to add intrigue during the middle of the season. You want to add a play-in tournament. You want to find people. You want to add a 65-game minimum thing to get players to play more. But your postseason isn't on network TV?
You don't mean network TV, because TNT and ESPN have had the NBA playoffs for decades.
I mean on cable. Whatever it is. So on an extra pay site.
Okay. All right.
Pay site. You know what I mean.
You crack me up.
I know.
Like,
that's my job.
This is what you're angry about today.
Yeah, this is what I'm angry about today. I can choose what I be. It's because I'm hot, man.
I know it is toasty.
I'm hot.
We're getting a workout just sitting here talking.
I'm sweating
today.
I got to shower again.
All right. I want to play this for you as we prep for the Heat and the Hornets tonight, 7:30 Eastern. I do think fans in Charlotte will be pumped for tonight, because this is cool. They've got young players
at the Hive.
Con Knippel is a player that might win Rookie of the Year. It's pretty sweet. I think Hornets fans are going to be amped. Did you see this going around on social media earlier today? This is from Hornets fan Carolina Mike, getting people ready for the Hornets game tonight. Take a listen.
What up, party people? I got a question. You ready to show up and show out for your Charlotte Hornets as they enter the play-in tournament? Yeah, me too. So wherever you're at in the world, I need you to take your phone, take it off mute, turn the volume up real loud, and show it to the person next to you. Come on, let's go. Spend $150,000 on a b-ball team. Wait a minute, that's not another buy team. Spend $150,000 on a tricked out suite. Get myself something good to eat. Build a basketball court outside my house, but the HOA's gonna make me tear it down. Might get me a Hornets founder suite. I mean all access, I want VIP. I get some retro Air Jordan 1 low, so I can dunk the basketball in the air for show. I might get Hugo and a honeybee, so they can do this dance right here with me. I'ma get that high mentality, straight buzzing in the Queen City CLT. Come on, Hornets, it's time to get down. Stand up, Charlotte, this is your town. If you had 150,000.
Come on, Hornets fans.
You have 100,000?
Let's go. 150,000.
150,000.
Yeah, that's Carolina Mike. He's got various songs that have gone viral on social media, and he is a huge Charlotte sports fan. He had a big song that went viral for the Panthers before they took on the Rams in the NFL wildcard round. Do you understand what the 150,000 deal is? Wait, what's that about? I don't get it.
You need 150,000 to put a basketball court in your front yard, but the HOA won't allow it. You got an HOA,
but all of his songs are 150,000.
But the HOA, they won't allow it. What are your reserves in your HOA?
So is that what's? It's not. So is that the entire gimmick? I don't understand. Like, I've seen the songs before. And you've seen it probably on social media. He kind of sways back and forth. When he says 150,000 during the chorus, he throws Monopoly money out of his pockets. It's hilarious. Credit to Carolina Mike. I love him supporting his Hornets. What? I don't get the 150,000.
That's how much it costs to build. You've never looked up how much it costs to put a?
I haven't.
Does your HOA not allow it?
I live in a building, so in the city of Chicago, so I don't think I could put a basketball court in the front.
Well, you got to talk to multiple HOAs.
I think I would have to get clearance in the city.
Oh, well.
Take down some trees.
That's more than 150,000.
Yeah, I don't think I can do that. All right, so that's the entire gimmick is he's trying to get a basketball court built. Why? What does that have to do with a football team then? It's the same lyrics for the football one.
Well, how much
have
is
you watched the football one?
How much is a football stadium?
I don't know. It's not $150,000.
It might be.
That's why I saw it today. I'm like, all right, this is great.
Land might be cheaper in the Carolinas. You don't know.
This is great. I don't understand. You think Josh Graham could get to the bottom of this for us and find out what the 150,000 is for? I don't get it. But
I think he needs to have Carolina Mike on.
The Hornets
in studio
will host the Heat tonight. The 9-10 matchup in the Eastern Conference, 7:30 Eastern. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Is there anything the NFL could learn from what the NBA has gone through, struggling to find the consumer in the last couple of years? We'll talk about that next.
Is next Thursday, and we'll be backstage talking to the draft picks just minutes after getting selected. The biggest storylines, the news you need to know from your home of the NFL, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
We've been trashing the NBA play-in round that starts up tonight here on the show, Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. There's an article out on CBS Sports talking about the NFL and a possible change to an 18-game season and the possible downfall that could come with it. And Abdalla, like when we look at what Adam Silver has done with the NBA, is there anything that the NFL should keep their eye on to maybe not go down that same path, where it does feel like if you're a big basketball fan, you enjoy watching the games, but most of the conversation is spent on people complaining about basketball in the way it used to be was a better form of entertainment than what we have today with the league?
I think the only thing that would ruin what the NFL has right now is adding more playoff teams to the mix. We all know 18 games is inevitable. It's probably going to happen next season. The upcoming season might be the last season, if the owners get their way, might be the last season with 17 games.
Yeah.
And next season, the 2027 season, will be the first with 18 games moving forward. And stop, please, please, please stop there. Because here's what happens. This season, in the 17th game for teams, the 18th week of the season, what, 2 games mattered?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen in week 18?
And only one was a game that was like a true win and get in situation. Yeah. Now, the NFC South had like a whole bunch of different variables to how it could play out.
Yes.
But it's also, I could see people being like, it's the NFC South, and no one cared about those teams to begin with.
And one team the Eagles didn't even care.
Right, where they landed.
They didn't care. They didn't play their starters. They didn't care. And I guarantee you that week 18 or game 18, week 19 this year or next year, whatever it is, will happen the same way.
Whatever.
Will happen the same way, right?
Yes.
Where a lot of the teams, it won't matter. They'll be resting their starters, and 1 or 2 games will matter. Maybe 3 games will matter. But the only thing that I think will water down the product is what we're seeing with the NBA now, is adding teams to the playoffs, is incentivizing it less to make the playoffs, is adding more teams, is saying that it's easier to make the playoffs. The beauty of the NFL and how much we talk about it and how much we hone in on every little story and every little detail of everything every coach and general manager says is because we obsess over everything the NFL does. We spend more time talking about the offseason than we do the regular season because there's so few games to talk about because we love the game so much.
I think you're right about that. The only thing that could hurt the NFL moving forward is by diluting the playoff format. And that's adding more teams to the playoffs hurts what football is about. If football becomes what we've seen with basketball, with hockey, and baseball, I think has found a nice spot. But for a while, I was against adding the multiple wildcard teams as well because it devalues 162. The point of baseball is the season. And I get it. The playoffs are totally different. But the point is being great in the season, and that was the reward to get into the postseason in baseball. Well, when you add more playoff teams, the regular seasons are diluted, and it doesn't matter as much. And that's what the NBA has faced this season specifically, with all of the teams racing to the bottom for the tankathon that we've seen here in the NBA this year and why it's been a problem. So I thought it was an interesting article on CBS Sports. Check it out. The NFL 18-game season. And maybe, there isn't anything the NFL would learn from the NBA because the NFL is king.
Well, I think it's ruined college basketball or college football. Yeah, I think college football is completely watered down because of how many teams make the playoff now. Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to only expand even more. Yesterday on the show, we were breaking down the Masters. I enjoyed watching the Masters over the weekend. It was a great time. Everything from Rory winning to the guy in the hat, the egg salad hat, which was a big seller down there at Augusta National. Ho-Tong Lee in the bush. Hitting out of the azaleas. It was a great time watching the Masters and Scottie Scheffler almost getting to the tie with Rory. The one thing that I thought that was the best from the weekend wasn't Rory winning or CBS botching the final 9 holes of the tournament and the 18th hole for Rory himself. It was listening to Rory on Saturday swing the golf club and then someone yelling this.
Give me back my son.
Absolutely hilarious. Laugh out loud moment. Shout out to that guy. It was clean. It was funny. It sounded like it was on the broadcast. It was outstanding. I said to you yesterday, that was my favorite thing from the weekend. It was awesome. And so we talked about that yesterday here on this show. And each day we hand off here on Westwood One Sports to Jim Rome. He starts his show at 3 Eastern after the Bleck Abdalla show. Take a listen to Rome yesterday.
But the Give Me Back My Son, it was part of the promotion of the movie. And they just kept hammering it over and over and over and over again. And then we grabbed it, and we grabbed the clip. So 30 years later, in the backswing at the Masters, Rory, no less. Give me back my son. Give me back my son. So now that you've seen an outraged Mel Gibson These guys F-bombing each other. Oh, bleeping kill him right now. Give me back my son. Flash forward to 2026 at the Masters, and then you see this. You see this. You're all fixated on the wrong thing. Did Rory cheat? No, he didn't cheat, and that's beside the point anyway. Well, why are you spending all your time on that when you should be spending your time on this? Somebody saying, give me back my son in the backswing.
Give me back my son. Give me back my son. Give me back my son.
Is that you? No, it can't be Larry, because if it were Larry, we would know. If it were Larry, Larry would have let us know by now.
Give me back my son.
Larry would have let us know the second he let that fly and they were escorting him off the course.
Give me back my son.
Rome, you see? You see what I'm willing to do to get on the show?
Jim Rome yesterday, right here on Westwood One Sports. Larry the caller. Is it the same guy? But either way, shout out to Rome. That's awesome that he found the clip from Ransom back in the day. Mel Gibson yelling, give me back my son. I didn't know there was a reference to this show. So shout out to Rome. That was awesome.
Shout out. That's awesome. That's awesome. Rory cheating at the Masters. Ridiculous.
I was listening to Rome and I was like, oh, wow. All right. Hell
Give me
yeah.
back my son. I do remember the trailers for that movie that long ago and how hilarious it was that he was yelling, give me back my son.
It was a good movie.
I loved it.
It was
Ransom was a great
movie.
movie. I don't think young people realize how big of a star Mel Gibson was back in the day.
Well,
and then the downfall.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, the downfall.
There's always the downfall. But I'll say this. There was like a sweet spot in the mid-'90s where there were just like single action films.
Yeah.
And that's one of them.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's it. You didn't need 10 sequels.
No sequels, not a 9-part series on a streaming service. No.
You didn't need Face Off 2.
One movie, and that's it.
No.
Give me back my son, one film. Bleck Abdalla, we're going to talk about the NFL draft coming up next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right. Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. SiriusXM Channel 375 and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago. We are on the air until 3 Eastern. You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910. Abdalla, we are almost a week away from the NFL draft. Next Thursday night, live from Pittsburgh, we will have the first round of the NFL draft. You and I will be there in Pittsburgh. We'll be at the stadium. We'll be getting ready for the first round. We'll also broadcast our show on Thursday and Friday of next week, live from Pittsburgh. And we'll get you all the sights and scenes for the NFL draft. Can't wait. And as we start to approach the NFL draft, I do think that there are a few juicy and interesting storylines to kind of look at, but I think the real sizzle from a year-to-year basis when we look at these type of things, it always comes down to the quarterbacks. And the fact that we've known for months that Fernando Mendoza will be the number one quarterback selected overall has really taken a little sting out of the promotion for the draft, because every expert and everyone talking about quarterbacks say that even though there's a guy at the very top, number one in Mendoza, the quarterbacks behind him are not challenging for that spot, and they may not even be worthy of a first-round pick. And so all of the storylines that I find interesting are the other players, which there's a lot to dissect and figure out. How good could Arvell Reese be? Should Jeremiah Love be selected with the 4th overall pick? A running back, 4th overall. That, to me, is crazy. But we've seen people out there talk about Jeremiah Love as an all-time prospect. How good does he have to be to select a player in the top 5? And some of the other positions, Caleb Downs is definitely a player who's of a position that isn't maybe as impactful in comparison to some of the other high-value draft players that you can go with. Offensive tackle, quarterback, wide receiver. But I do think there are some good storylines, even though maybe the sizzle with quarterback isn't quite there.
Yeah, and it's a problem too because, Mendoza is not going to be at the draft, so you don't get that, like you said, sizzle of him walking up and, hugging Roger Goodell and putting the hat on and all that kind of stuff. He's going to be on Zoom with his family, you assume, and all that stuff. So, when it comes to this draft, also, when you look at who the number one prospect is by ranking, not by who's going to be taking number one, when the number one prospect is Jeremiah Love, it creates a lot of debate. Is Jeremiah Love worthy of being taken in the top 5 as a running back? And it kind of takes you back to, over a decade ago when the value of the running back was a lot higher than it is now, and what this NFL is going to look like. And you look at what the Eagles did with Saquon Barkley when they won a Super Bowl, and how Saquon Barkley was a huge part of that offense. And then their offensive line started to deteriorate a little bit. They lost some pieces to free agency and retirement, obviously. And then that part of their offense kind of went away, and the Eagles weren't as strong as they were last year, but everybody tried to replicate that. But then also last year, Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks had a tremendous year, and that's kind of how they won their Super Bowl, with tremendous defense and Kenneth Walker. And then Sam Darnold had a decent year too and was very good. And then now that's why you're seeing teams wanting to replicate that. Kenneth Walker gets a big deal with Kansas City because they believe Jeremiah Love won't be able to fall to them when they're drafting. So Jeremiah Love looks like right now, the running back out of Notre Dame, like he won't be out of the top 10. So right now you're seeing most mock drafts where he's going to be number 4 to the Tennessee Titans or number 5 to the New York Giants. So right now he's consistently the number 1 or number 2 prospect in most of the rankings just for overall prospects. And we're looking at Jordan Reed for ESPN.com put out his final rankings for the prospects. Final rankings. No more rankings.
That's
Sharpie,
final.
No more rankings. He has Jeremiah Love as his number 1 prospect in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So, look, and that's just a number 1 overall player. He's an explosive play generator, versatility, explosiveness. He had 39 runs of over 10-plus yards last season, 4th amongst FBS running backs. And look, and his coach gave him the seal of approval yesterday too, which of course, obviously, your college coach is going to do. Like, what is he going to be like? No, he wasn't great. Like, a team shouldn't draft him.
Tell me about the seal of approval.
Well, listen, I was
Marcus
looking.
Freeman gave him a seal of approval.
Marcus Freeman
what
was like,
he going to say? This kid sucks.
Well, he was like, he can do anything. He's a great player. He's not just
seal of approval.
He's not just a versatile running back. He's not just a running back. He's a versatile player on all facets, all that kind of thing. He's saying he can do everything. He's not just a running back. He's a different type of running back.
Seal of approval. He stamped it.
Stamped it.
Okay.
Take him number 1 if you could, type of thing. So I think that it's how you want to build your team. I wouldn't take him in the top 5, but I'm not drafting for the Titans or the Giants. I think that if the Titans think he can be a difference maker, take pressure off of their quarterback Cam Ward, and they've got everything shored up on their offensive line and their other weapons, then you do that, sure. If the Giants feel the same way and he falls to them, then do that, sure. Otherwise, I would be picking a different position.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Yesterday on the show, Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports joined us to help preview the NFL draft. You can listen to the full interview on our YouTube channel, Bleck Abdalla Show. Like and subscribe. You can find the conversation with Frank right there. He talked to us about who is the best player in this year's draft.
For me, it's Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs is the best player in this draft. Maybe Jeremiah Love. It's kind of 1A, 1B. And that kind of speaks to this draft where a running back and a safety, 2 non-premium positions, are the 2 best players in this draft, in my mind anyway. I think safety is still undervalued in the NFL, especially with so much scheme versatility on the offensive side. You've seen teams go more of the multiple tight end personnel. Well, you need safeties to combat that. You need safeties out there that can do everything, play everywhere, to say, okay, you're going to run multiple tight ends against us, but we have a chess piece too that can match that. So I think Caleb Downs is going to be really, really valuable. He's going to be one of these players who's Pro Bowler pretty much his whole career, I think, at a position that I think is undervalued in the NFL. So Reese is great. He's fine. I think Sonny Styles is a really, really good player. All these guys in the top 10, you're getting some talent. But to me, it's Downs. Downs is a player I like the best. Him or Love. Those guys are the 2 impact guys, even though they don't play a premium position.
So that was Frank Schwab with Bleck Abdalla yesterday. Check it out on our YouTube channel, Bleck Abdalla Show. The full interview is there. You can listen to it and check it out. And so he says Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State, as the best player in the draft. You mentioned Jordan Reed and his list of the top prospects heading into the NFL draft, the top 500 prospects. Jordan Reed on ESPN.com listed Jeremiah Love 1, Caleb Downs 2, Sonny Styles 3, Arvell Reese 4, Francis Malioa, number 5, and Fernando Mendoza is 6. 7 is Ruben Bain Jr., Mansour Delane is number 8, David Bailey is number 9, and Carnell Tate rounds out the top 10. So we've seen a lot of different people point to different things, but both Jordan Reed and Frank Schwab, who we talked to yesterday, have as the top 2 players Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs. That also leads to a conversation, Abdalla, where if you're building your team and you look at paying your positions, running back and safety are down the list. And just like look at the total average of players who are getting paid around the NFL. Last season in the NFL, the highest paid position, obviously, is quarterback.
Yeah.
The second highest paid position in the NFL last season, based on average of all of the starting players, is offensive tackle. Third, it would be edge defender. Fourth, it would be wide receiver. Fifth, it would be interior defensive lineman. And then it gets to guard on the offensive side. Cornerback follows that. So those are the players. Those are the marquee players. And why does that matter? Those are the guys who are getting the big contracts, right? And that's why you are getting a second, a third contract at the high level. You know, the only players for an average of getting paid in the NFL that's below running back would be fullback. There were only 14 last season in the NFL. And then the punter and the long snapper. Kickers and running backs, even though the starter average for a running back is more than a kicker, the average overall for all of the kickers and all the running backs in the league is actually higher for kickers, which it kind of makes sense. There's more running backs, right? And there's more players who are like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round guys who are playing on those contracts compared to the high paydays that, say, a Saquon Barkley gets or someone like Jeremiah Love that you hope someday would get a contract like that. So when you look at it, if you're building a team, safety is right there dead in the middle. Running backs towards the back. If you're spending for your team, I don't think people realize that the doors are open and that there are live shows going on. Okay. But Raj, if you can hear yelling in the background, that's not Abdalla and I here in the studio.
No, that's
okay.
It's not Bleck Abdalla.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's not us. It's
We're
a
not
hot
playing
day
sound
here.
effects.
The AC is out. All the studio doors are open, and there's people just yelling in the hallways. So when we're building a team, Abdalla, if safety and running back are at the lower of the list of players who are getting paid, like why would you spend a 4th overall pick or a pick in the top 5 on a running back or a safety? To me, that tells me that those players, Caleb Downs or Jeremiah Love, you have to be a Hall of Fame player because there's exceptions to every rule.
Yeah.
And if you're going to use a pick in that spot, you need to be LaDainian Tomlinson. You need to be Ed Reed. Like that's what you have to be if you're selecting a running back or a safety that high in the draft.
Yeah, okay. Well, I see your point. And I also think that the more we talk to draft experts, and we're going to talk to a bunch of them as we are, 10 days away from the draft, I think this draft just sucks. Like, it's simple as that. Like, I think this draft is just doesn't have a lot of that top-end talent. Like, there's a lot of depth pieces. Like, there's a lot of guys that on certain teams could be day one starters, but they're not going to be as good as X player, right? They're not going to be as like you're not going to get your Abdul Carter that you found last year, right? Like you're not going to find a guy that's going to turn into Myles Garrett. Like you're going to have Arvell Reese. That's a guy, right? Caleb Downs is a top end safety. Like, he's the best safety in the draft, and he's a top-end talent. And, like, then after these 5 or 6 guys, the bottom drops out. Like, I saw something that said there might not be a defensive tackle taken in the first round.
That's wild.
Like, not a defensive tackle taken in the first round is what this says about this draft. There might not be 2 quarterbacks taken in the first round. And that's something we've been discussing for months about this draft. And I think that speaks why you're seeing a safety this high and why you're seeing a running back this high and why you're seeing, on this list at least, Fernando Mendoza down to number 6, because Cam Ward would have been higher and everybody from the 2024 draft would have been higher.
Yeah, you're not referencing a mock draft. You're referencing best players available.
Yes.
Yeah, and Fernando Mendoza is only number 1 because of the position that he plays.
Yeah.
He's not number 1 because he's the best player available in this year's draft.
And the number 1 team happens to need a quarterback this year.
See, that's why if there is an absolute need that locks into place with the position, like someone like the Cardinals at 3, they need an offensive tackle. So Francis Malioa from Miami would make perfect sense for them at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get that. I get the Jets at 2 if they go with Arvell Reese.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. But if you're a team like the Giants or the Titans or Cleveland, essentially anything past 3, you need a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And this isn't a great draft. Shouldn't you be moving back, collecting assets, and adding multiple, because there's not like the home run hitter outside of the like 3 or 4 guys that are going to go at the very top?
There's 2 things that I've seen doing research for this draft so far. This is going to be a very trade-heavy draft, and a lot of it is going to be teams trying to move back and acquire picks later in the draft because of what you just said. And that teams are going to be looking to move back, and teams that want to move up and try to get those guys are. Because you can't tell me that Fernando Mendoza, let's say the Titans lost a few more games. They're not drafting Fernando Mendoza. They've got Cam Ward.
Right. But
so
they would probably go with Arvell Reese.
They would go with Arvell
if they weren't picking number 1.
Exactly. They would go with Arvell Reese. You're telling me that if the Titans were drafting number 1, that they would be taking Jeremiah Love?
No.
At number 1?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, this isn't 1995.
They'd be taking Caleb Downs number 1?
Remember back in the day when it was like, take a running back with your top pick?
Absolutely not. It's the need. It's Fernando Mendoza's there because the Raiders need a quarterback, and he's there because he's a quarterback. And then everybody else just kind of falls into place. And the rest of the draft, we're going to hear from all of these analysts that we're going to talk to. It's just not very good.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. It's now time for the Defensive Player of the Week, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Abdalla, when we select the Defensive Player of the Week, you're laughing already. Do you have someone in mind?
Caleb Downs, the second-ranked player on Jordan Reed's.
I love it.
250 players that are ranked ahead of the NFL draft, or 500 player ranked ahead of the NFL draft. Sorry, I thought it was 250. It's 500. He ranked 500 players.
You should apologize.
I should apologize.
Apologize to the listener.
I am apologizing.
What are you doing over there?
I am apologizing. Jeremiah Love is number 1, and Caleb Downs is the second-ranked player. So congrats to you, Caleb Downs. You're our Defensive Player of the Week.
You could also have gone with Caleb Downs because Frank Schwab told us yesterday he's the best player in the draft.
I could have, yes.
You could have promoted our show.
I did.
But you went with the 4-letter product there.
Well,
you could have promoted Westwood One Sports, Bleck and Abdalla, but instead you went with the 4 letters. That's what you did there.
You could have done it. Why'd you ask me about it?
I'm trying to incorporate you. I'm trying to make you part of the conversation.
You didn't need to do that.
All right. Well, there you go. Caleb Downs, because Frank Schwab yesterday on the show told us he's the best player in the draft, and it's brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
I could have also told you because we've basically done every other player. Sonny Styles got it once. Arvell Reese got it once.
It's okay.
Who else has gotten it?
Right.
Well, we're not giving it to Ruben Bain.
Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. The NBA playoffs are set to start this weekend. The play-in round starts up tonight. Which NBA teams in the playoffs are on upset alert? We'll talk about that next.
Who is the best edge rusher in the draft? Ohio State's Arvell Reese or Texas Tech's David Bailey? They're both expected to go in the top 5. You ready for this? The NFL Draft is next week. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Broadcasting live each and every day from downtown Chicago. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Now we head on out to Colorado, parts unknown, where we find Raj Sharon producing the Bleck and Abdalla show each and every day. Hello, Raj. Time for Power Rankings.
Hello, Bleck. Hello, Abdalla. Yes, it is time for Power Rankings. If you're new to the show, this isn't your typical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Think about those fun graphics that you see online with funny names for categories. That's what we do as a part of our Power Rankings. And today's category has to do with playoff teams, with the NBA play-in tournament starting tonight, and then we'll head into the playoffs this weekend. All right, you guys ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right,
I'm ready.
Category number 1. Abdalla, you're first on upset alert. Who is on upset alert?
On upset alert. I'm going to go with Detroit. I think Detroit might be on upset alert. I think the Cade Cunningham coming back. Let's see if they're on upset alert. Maybe if he's still not in, quote, basketball shape from his return. I think they're the only real team. I think this is basically going to be the Boston Invitation, the Celtics Invitational.
The Boston
Invitational.
Okay.
And then the Thunder or Spurs Invitational. So I think Detroit being the number 1 seed, that would technically be an upset alert. So if they get knocked off in an early round, technically an upset. So I'm going to go with the Pistons.
All right. You might want to do this, Raj. Maybe throw a word of caution to our friend Nick Kostos.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
Maybe let him know the Knicks are on upset alert.
No.
The Knicks are on upset alert. I like this frisky Hawks team. Young players, they're athletic, they can shoot from 3. I like what they're Jalen Johnson's coming into his own. CJ McCollum as their guard, getting buckets at the end of games. Watch out, Knicks. You thought that the reason you didn't succeed was Thibodeau. Wrong. You're on upset alert. I would also say throw some shades towards Raj. Your Nuggets.
Hey, yo.
Make sure your Nuggets get out of the first round, Raj, against the Timberwolves. So if you want to say
shade here.
Yeah, just tell Kostos and tell Raj. And you're Raj, so tell yourself.
Tell yourself.
Tell yourself.
Tell myself. You know what's funny? I am on upset alert, though.
See?
Oh, my God.
See,
Minnesota,
I know.
I hate playing them.
I know.
Anthony Edwards, God.
Exactly. So I'm going to say
All right.
Knicks and Nuggets.
Next up in Power Rankings, spoilers. So who could do some of the upsetting, Bleck? Who are our spoiler Power Ranking group?
Yeah, so I think I laid it out with Atlanta. I think Atlanta in the second half of the season, they were playing some of the best basketball in the Eastern Conference. So certainly put them there. I would also, in this category, I'm not going to just regurgitate what I told to you about the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. I will say, if he wants to be the greatest ever, if Sir King LeBron James wants to be that guy, you upset the Rockets, even though you're the 4 seed in this series.
Yeah, but odds, they're a heavy underdog.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you want us to talk about you being the greatest ever, LeBron, throw it back, show us something here at 41 without your other stars with you. You pull off an upset on the Rockets, that would be a huge deal. So I'm going to say Lakers, Rockets, and then I'm going to go with the Hawks.
I can feel the steam coming out of Abdalla's ears as you're saying that, Bleck. I can feel Abdalla. I can feel it.
I want to see. I said the Pistons were on upset alert, so I want to see this frisky, young
TBD
Hornets team. Well, it's the Hornets.
Oh, okay, so the
they're
Hornets.
They're gonna be
the 8th seed.
They're gonna beat the Heat. They're gonna be the 8th seed.
What if the Heat win tonight?
Then they're not going to beat the Pistons. The Hornets, I think, have a chance to beat the Pistons.
Okay.
It would be fun if they did. I think they're a young, fun team. I think the Hive, where they play, would be fun. I think they're a young, fun, up-and-coming team. I think it would be fun for them to beat the Pistons. I very much dislike the Pistons as a Bulls fan. Since our team is not in this, I would like the Pistons to lose. So it'd be fun if the Hornets beat them as a 8-1 matchup. So I'm going with the Hornets as my pick.
Come on now, our team's not in it. This week is the biggest week of the year for the Chicago Bulls. They've got meetings. They've got
meetings week.
Michael Reinsdorf and Billy Donovan. They're having meetings.
Meetings
it's a big
week.
Meetings week. It's the best week of the year for the Bulls, right, Raj?
All right, next up in Power Rankings, guys, we'll go to you, Abdalla. A year too early. Who you putting in this category? A year too early.
I think we talked about it last hour. It's probably Portland. Portland peaked a little bit too early. They're probably going to lose to the Suns later tonight. And it's not bad that they peaked too early. You know, they're still going to be in the lottery if they lose tonight, since this is technically not the postseason. This is a play-in tournament, so they're still going to get a draft pick out of this. If they lose, they technically give it to the Bulls, or if they win, they give it. I don't know what it is.
What happened? What just happened there?
They owe it to the Bulls somehow. And
Raj,
so,
are you following along with this?
I'm gone. I
if
have
they
no
win,
idea. Lost.
If they lose, they keep it. If they win, they give it to the Bulls.
Yeah.
So I think it's the Trailblazers. They're here early. All these other old teams that are in the playoffs, and the Magic were supposed to be better. So obviously it's not them. 76ers are bad. The Warriors are old. The Clippers are bad. So it's the Trailblazers for sure.
All right, Bleck, get this back on the track. A year too early.
Here's my answer. Abdalla, you got the fresh DraftKings odds to win the championship there? Could you look those up while I talk?
I got you.
All right, so
I got them right here.
Here's the way I'm going to play this. I think the way this is going to work out over the next month and a half is that we will likely get a finals matchup of the Oklahoma City Thunder facing off against the Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, and how do those odds look like on DraftKings?
The Celtics are plus 550 to win the NBA Finals.
Do you have odds to get to the finals for both conferences?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The Celtics to win the conference are plus 155.
Are they the first or second?
First, yeah.
They're first, and the Thunder are first, right?
Yeah.
In the West?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Celtics and the Thunder are the betting favorites to get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
My answer is this. It's Detroit and it's San Antonio. They're both really good. And I think they're going to be really good for a long time. But my guess is that in these playoffs, we will have the conclusion that they are a year early. That Wemby and the Spurs just don't quite have enough yet to get to the finals. And the same would go for the Pistons, because I think the Celtics are going to be the representative out of the Eastern Conference. So my answer is Pistons, Spurs. It will be a year early.
All right, and then staying with that trend, Bleck, a year too late.
Well, it's dead on arrival. The Golden State Warriors. They play in the play-in round tomorrow night against the Clippers. It's over. That's what it is. I don't really know how to. And the only other team that I would kind of point in the same direction would be Philadelphia. Even though Maxey is a star, I do feel like we are getting to the point with Embiid and his inability to stay healthy any year ever that we're never going to see Embiid ever fulfill his actual promise and actual talent. Joel Embiid, when healthy, is the most talented player in the world. When healthy. Mm-hmm. He's never healthy. He's never in shape. He's never ready to go. And those little glimpses that we get when he is that is so minuscule now that it's not ever going to happen. And I feel confident in saying, like, he will never be the guy and lead the 76ers to a championship. It's just not going to happen. And so I'm going to go Philadelphia. I'm going to go Golden State.
Those are good answers.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. As you Google, what are you looking up there?
Basketball
teams?
No. Doesn't he have doesn't he have appendicitis now?
Yeah, he does now, but
that's not an injury.
Okay,
that's a freak.
Me, how do you play the entire season? He
Yeah,
played the entire
he's
season?
hurt. Yeah,
or
no,
was
he
hurt?
didn't. He was hurt. He's
Off and
always
on.
hurt though. Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah.
Yes, appendicitis is not something you can predict.
No.
But everything else in the last 7 years has been.
I get that. I understand
He's
that.
always hurt.
I understand that. I will also go with the Golden State Warriors as they gear up with their walkers and show up to the stadium hurt and injured and broken down like they usually do, and they only won 37 games and are somehow in the play-in. Like, you shouldn't be under 500 and be able to make this thing. It's ridiculous.
Well, injuries.
I know.
Jimmy Butler.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
Steph Curry.
It's nuts. And LeBron next year, probably.
Oof.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I could. They'd still be the 10th seed in the West.
That's ridiculous.
What's the difference?
That's and older.
I'm aware.
He's over 40.
Yes.
He's our age.
Correct.
All right, Warriors. I agree. Raj.
All right, and finally, guys, I want you to close your eyes, and can you envision whatever team with that trophy, Larry O'Brien, and the confetti flying? You can realistically see it. Who passes the confetti test, Abdalla?
Since I have a financial investment in the Boston Celtics, I'm going to say the Boston Celtics, because I don't want to see the Thunder win again. I'm tired of the Thunder. I'm one of those people that is tired of the Thunder. I know they're the best team. I understand it. And I would also like, if it's not the Thunder or the Celtics, I would like to see the Spurs. I would honestly like to see that. If it comes down to the Thunder and the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals, I would legitimately like to see the Spurs move on and see that matchup between the Spurs and the Celtics. That would be, I think, a great matchup, because I do think that people are fatigued by the Thunder and just the way that they play and that style. Well, people don't like them. People don't like them.
I don't think people are fatigued by it, because I don't think they ever jumped on board with the Thunder.
Well, that's what I mean. People don't like them in general, so it's just done. They're just done with them. So I'm going to go with Spurs. I like the Spurs and I like the Celtics. Those two.
To our great friends and affiliates in Oklahoma City, we understand you love your team. I don't think people around the country care for the Thunder.
No,
I don't think it's sticking. I don't think that it's taking. There just isn't. Usually with players this young accomplishing this much, it's like all we want to do is compare them to the past greats and talk about them. And the only time the Thunder are brought up during the regular season is to complain about the flopping, the foul baiting, and the way that they play. And I don't think that it's a villain. I don't think it's a hero situation. I don't think people think about the Thunder at all. They're like a nothing. That's the way I think people treat it.
Yeah.
Raj, to answer your question, I don't see anyone winning the championship outside of the top two seeds in each conference. So Thunder, Spurs, Pistons, Celtics. That's it. I don't think Cleveland will have enough. I'm also worried about the Knicks against the Hawks. On the West, it's not going to be the Rockets. And unfortunately, I don't see the championship. I don't think Raj will be floating in confetti as Jokic hoists another trophy. I just don't see it out there a mile high. So I think it's Thunder, Spurs, Pistons, Celtics. Those are the only teams that can win the title.
And that does it for Power Rankings today. Thank you, guys.
I'm sorry, Raj. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
That just killed your mojo. I'm sorry. That was a low blow.
You got your championship.
That wasn't right.
I would have put them on past the confetti test.
That wasn't right. You're a huge Denver sports fan. That was bad. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
You've got your championship.
Yeah, at least you've got games. You've got games to look forward to, Raj. We have meetings.
Yeah, you guys got
We've got
meetings and decisions.
We've got meetings here in Chicago. It's Bleck Abdalla, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I love the game where you guys guilt me and feel bad. You grew up with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. I grew up with 11 and 71.
Yeah, you know what that is, Raj? That's a standard. That's what we expect.
Yeah.
That's why we're jaded. That's the standard. We want championships.
Mm-hmm.
You go watch the video highlight package of the Nuggets winning recently. It should still be fresh.
You guys got
you.
6. When I have 6, we can talk on equal grounds that we can be equally happy.
I agree.
Do you know how long ago that was, man?
Those are great years, man. They were great. Long time ago. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. All right, so we had a story last week from Ian Rappaport saying that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to turn Travis Hunter into a full-time cornerback. There is now pushback from Travis Hunter. We will talk about that next
How high is too high to draft a running back? Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love may be the best player in the NFL draft, but is he a generational talent worth picking in the top 5? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, hanging out with you. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. All right, so Ian Rappaport put out information with Jacksonville last week saying that Travis Hunter will focus on being a full-time cornerback. He tried to play both sides of the ball this past season, wide receiver and cornerback. He was able to do it successfully in college. It was pretty cool to watch in college. You and I, as he entered the draft process, we kept saying to ourselves, you know, even though he can do it, there is no realistic way for a player to play both ways in an NFL game for an entire season.
Yeah.
That's just insane. And the amount of plays and the running and the hits that you take, and I know on one side of the ball you're taking the hits, the other side you're giving the hits. It's just way too much to put on one player to keep them healthy throughout the season. And so Rappaport said that the focus in this offseason would be for Travis Hunter to focus on being a cornerback. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the Jags could use him as a gimmick player or every so often on offense, but he would drop the wide receiver aspect of playing both full time. And Travis Hunter responded to that tweet. He replied to the video of Rappaport talking about it on the NFL Network with the quote, "Now, who told you this?" With the little emoji doing the, you know, the little like the hand on the chin, like well, who told you this? Now, of course, that's not how Travis Hunter would sound saying it, but that's how the emoji talks. Right, like that. The emoji's like, who tell you this? Right,
interesting.
Like, so he used that emoji, and he said, "Now, who told you this?"
Yeah,
which to me would signal that someone within the Jacksonville organization has told Rappaport,
"Yeah,
this is the plan," and that has yet to get communicated to said player, and the player is finding out about this online.
Well, I think that it's obvious to anybody that, like you said, you can't use Travis Hunter in both roles because he'll get hurt again. He can't take the hits. You can't use you can't put the mileage on his legs throughout an NFL game to play both ways every single down or split 50% on offense and 100% on he's too valuable on defense to split carries on offense and then even play, you know, if you do 100% on defense and then 50% on offense. You can't sacrifice defensive plays for offensive snaps. It just doesn't work. And so I would go up to the player and say, "Look, we need you on defense more so than offense. Because we're trying to make the playoffs. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. You're too valuable. We're going to have some plays on offense for you because you are valuable on offense to us. We do need you out there some of the snaps, but this is what we're going to run. This is what we're going to do."
Yeah.
So I would say maybe this is some gamesmanship there because, like, you don't want to completely count it out. You don't want teams to be like, "Well, we don't have to plan for Travis Hunter now on offense."
Yeah, but how much planning are they really doing?
Not a lot.
Like that's the thing that I think is kind of silly about the entire.
I don't think teams are staying up at night worrying about Travis Hunter when they face the on offense.
But it's no shade towards him as an athlete. It's just how many NFL teams are spending multiple film sessions or install days in practice worrying about your fourth wide receiver,
not a lot.
Your third wide receiver. No. That's not the case. Like, yeah, okay, if he has designated plays, hey, flyers on the field, this guy's going deep type of thing. Like, I could see it. Or, you know, every NFL team, or the way it used to be, is like you get the one fast guy who only gets onto the field on offense for the end around. Right? Like he takes one step forward and then here he comes behind the quarterback and get the end. Like, okay, maybe you give your defensive players a little heads up. When Hunter's out there, maybe he's not running his routes. Maybe he's going to be in the backfield. Maybe he's going to be on a jet sweep of some sort. It's not something that I don't think other teams are worried about. So why would Jacksonville spend so much time implementing something that the other team's not even concerned about?
Mm-hmm.
he needs to play defense. He needs to be a top 5 cornerback.
Yeah.
If he's a top 5 cornerback in the NFL, that was worth the draft pick. That makes a lot of sense.
I agree with you. And I think that when they're planning for their offense, Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence, and they unlocked something. And guess what? They unlocked Trevor Lawrence, and he started playing better and returned to form and what we were used to seeing his rookie year, and what he was playing better after that without Travis Hunter. It's not like Travis Hunter was out there on offense and we were like, oh man, there's this connection developing and all that kind of stuff. He played better without Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to add Travis Hunter to the mix and then all of a sudden you're going to get this great development of chemistry and all this kind of stuff.
Now, if he was a number 1 wide receiver, that would be more valuable.
Sure.
To Jacksonville than having a number 1 corner.
Sure.
I don't think that's going to take.
No.
Because he's splitting his time. So like that's the thing. That's where it doesn't quite make a lot of sense to me. And that's why I think what Rappaport reported is the right way for Jacksonville to handle it. And maybe, Travis Hunter hasn't been told by the team. Maybe there's other influences suggesting that he needs to continue to push out there, that he's both a wide receiver and a cornerback. Who knows? There's a lot of different items. I mean, I would hope that his agent has been told or they know if he's going to play one side of the ball or the other.
I would probably tell the player before you go out there telling reporters stuff. That's how I would run my team. But yeah, you never know. You never know.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can join the show at 310-840-4910. That's where we find Mitchell in New Jersey. What's up, Mitchell?
You're online,
oh, no.
Hello?
Oh, no.
I'm sorry,
Hello,
guys.
Mitchell. You're on.
Mitch,
come on.
Mitch.
Let's go.
Sorry, Chris. Hey, all I want to say is I think Jeremiah Love is one of the best players, and you're not giving enough love to Micaiah Lemon. I call him
Micaiah
Jack
Lemon? Yeah.
He's great. He's great what he does. I wish the Raiders can move up, but they don't have enough ammunition. I'm hoping the Raiders can maybe move up either. They don't have to move up a Ja'Kale Lanes, another USC guy, big 12 receiver. But you're talking about defensive tackle. You're picking up by the guy Woods from Clemson, and I'm sorry for not paying attention. We had a big blow with my grandson here.
Okay. Well, hopefully things are okay. We appreciate you calling, Mitchell. Hopefully everything's all right. All right, my man?
You got it. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
There he is, Mitchell in New Jersey, joining the Bleck Abdalla Show, 310-840-4910. Big blow up with the grandson. It's all right.
It happens. It happens, man. It happens. You know?
Is
the blow up kind of, are we talking Hao Tung Lee kind of a blow up?
Oh, one of those where you're on the toilet.
And that's what I'm assuming he's talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
like a blowout?
I get what you're saying.
A blowout?
I pictured like a
tantrum?
Yeah, no, not like a child. I was picturing like a teenager.
Oh,
like an argument. That's what I pictured. I didn't. You had.
I said he said there. I thought the blow up with the grandson,
yes.
like they're watching the grandkid, and all of a sudden they're like something's going on with the grandkid, and he needed use of his hands.
That would make.
And he's
more
like,
sense.
I gotta go.
I thought it was like, do your homework. I don't want to. One of those. That's what I pictured. Like a teenager
it's middle of the day.
off.
It's middle of the day. They're in charge of the kid right now, and all of a sudden there's a big blow up right now.
You're right. You're right. We're coming up on 2 Eastern. You're right. Yeah. That makes more sense. Can you tell that I don't have kids?
Yeah, I can kind of tell.
Yeah. I thought they were fighting over like allowance or homework or something.
No.
Or the kid wants to go play with his friends and he's not allowed to.
That could be. There's it's either tantrum situation or Hao Tung Lee.
Yes, yeah, on the toilet. Yes. I saw this study, and I want to float it past you and maybe our bosses as well, because I think it's something that could really benefit the Bleck Abdalla Show.
Okay.
Fortune magazine, they have a new study that was released. That the study was on 4-day work weeks.
Ooh, okay.
And the study that was done is that for people who work 5 days a week, it essentially, based on what you do Monday through Friday or whatever days that you are actively working 5 days a week, that you could go to a 4-day work week because That 5th day you spend at work essentially doing nothing.
Ooh.
So many people are at their office and they're working 5 days a week. And all of the time, if you take all the time that you're at work for the entire week, you could actually just work a 4-day work week because based on this new study, you're essentially wasting 1 day at work every week.
Okay. I like this. So you want us to only work 4 days a week?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm sure Raj would agree that we probably waste at least one show a week.
I would certainly waste your fair share. I'm not really sure how we're going to lock in to make up a whole
I would say
day's
2 shows a
worth.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, Raj, what do you think about a 3-day work week? Is that something? This is a new study, a 4-day work week. It would suggest that the 5, you got a wasted day.
We could just use the power of tape delay. So tomorrow we could air the show speculating from today who's going to win the play-in tournament tonight. I'm sure it'd be wonderful broadcasting.
Well, let's be real. This isn't a real job. We're talking sports.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting in
is
your
this about real
cubicle-
jobs? Yeah, is this about real jobs?
Laura, no, yeah.
Laura's got the real job.
Point being is if you're at a cubicle, you're wasting time.
Yeah.
You're wasting a day a week responding to emails. You know that's the case. Bleck Abdalla, we will talk with Mike Golic Jr. coming up next to preview the draft.
This is Westwood One Sports.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago until 3 Eastern each and every day. And the Westwood One Sports app. Abdalla, and when we look at the different storylines coming into the NFL draft, obviously, experts to this point have pointed to a player that is the best in the NFL draft prospect pool. But how high should you draft a running back? That's the debate you and I have been having for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, based on where he is in the rankings of people's, prospects, I think that he's ranked pretty high, 1 or 2, just behind Fernando Mendoza or at the top. But I think where you're going to take him, it's either 4 or 5, the Titans, the Giants, right around there.
Let's preview the NFL draft with our friend Mike Golic Jr. You can find his college football analysis on TNT Sports, also the Echoes podcast as well. Mike, thanks for taking time for us here. Bleck and Abdalla, Westwood One Sports. When you look at Jeremiah Love, how high is too high to select a running back in the first round?
Well, it's weird because it's a case-by-case basis, right? Like, in terms of talent, you guys are absolutely right. He is a top 5 running back, no matter how you slice it. He could be the top overall prospect in this draft, but the difficulty becomes running back is still a position that depends on others. Look no further than Ashton Genty last year, who's a great back. I don't believe the same prospect as Jeremiah Love, but still someone hindered by a bad offensive line. That tends to be the case with a lot of these teams. So I think it requires a lot of honesty on the part of your program to understand, hey, are we either equipped with that now or building towards it in a way that will allow us to maximize that sooner than later?
So if you're going to draft Jeremiah Love, and if you're the Titans, if you're the Giants, do you go with Jeremiah Love there, or do you try to get another wide receiver for Cam Ward? Do you try to beef up your offensive line for the Giants? What do you do if you're the GM for the Titans or for the Giants?
Yeah, for the Titans, I think still more pass-catching weapons for Cam Ward at this point is probably paramount. Jeremiah Love can do a lot of things, but there's still a difference in a guy who can stretch the field, and I ultimately don't think that the Tennessee Titans have done enough this offseason in that regard for him, with an offensive line that has some questions that still have to be answered. I think with New York and the Giants, I'm slightly more comfortable, especially assuming you're getting back a healthy Malik Neighbors sooner than later, a guy who can do that. You've got a couple pieces on an offensive line that's not perfect, but you've also got a quarterback who's we know at times going to be a detriment to himself in how much of a value he is as a runner, but in a way that ultimately I think that combination, and it's not to say Cam Ward's not mobile, but it's just not in the same way that you think of with Jackson Dart, where, all right, now all of a sudden, if I've got a quarterback read option that's got 2 guys this potent, that can help actually smooth out some of the issues with an offensive line. So I was always a little more comfortable with the Giants beginning that conversation than I was the Titans, but I can understand, again, why it's difficult because the talent is so tantalizing with Jeremiah.
Mike Golic Jr. hanging out with Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We've discussed this about this draft specifically. We know the number 1 prospect, Fernando Mendoza, will go to the Raiders. It's not a storyline that people are really that intrigued by, and there's not a lot of hype around it, especially because Mendoza will not be at the draft on Thursday. When you look at Mendoza, the player, what's his comp compared to what you've seen in the past for quarterbacks in the NFL?
Yeah, I think might have been Mina Kimes over at ESPN, threw out Matt Ryan as one potentially, where I think that makes sense, right? The arm talent isn't otherworldly. I think Mendoza's probably a little more mobile than even early stage Matt Ryan, but he's a guy, you look at the way he affected the game as a runner in college, you're not going to be able to do that in the NFL. He's not fast enough. He's not dynamic enough, but I think he can still get you out of jams, buy time in the pocket, tough, well-built, can put the ball in all the places you need, even if the arm strength isn't elite, and does seem in the windows we've had into how he thinks, how he talks about football, does seem to be a high processor. I know the offense maybe didn't ask as much of that in the ways we are used to seeing in the NFL level, given it was a lot of run-pass options. It was a lot of those pre-snap decisions built into this. I still think this is a guy that, when he has been challenged to do some of the NFL stuff, has been able to deliver and do it against high-level competition, do it in critical moments when his team needed him this season, put on the tape at times down the stretch, and ultimately be that kind of guy. So I think between who he is, his makeup as a player, how he approaches the game, and the environment he's going in where, hey, you're going to have Kirk Cousins there who could start the beginning of the season if you don't think he's ready. Hey, you went and spent big on Tyler Linderbaum. Hey, Clint Kubiak's got an offense that's very quarterback solvent. There are all these things that start to look like the kind of environment you'd want to bring a young quarterback into, which hasn't been something we can say about the Raiders in a while.
So because of that, and because we know Mendoza is going number one, and we've talked a lot about Ty Simpson, where should he go? Is he a first-round pick? Is he a top second-round pick? And where do you think is the best fit for Ty Simpson as far as teams go?
Yeah, I think he is a second-round draft pick. Like this draft, I said early on, sort of reminded me of the draft class with Malik Neighbors, the draft class with Will Levis, where we spend all this time because we're so quarterback obsessed and there's this draw, this magnetism that tries to pull them into the first round, especially when there's as much need as there is across the NFL. And then we see the league thinks differently. And I think this could be that situation again for him. That being said, if you get him in round two and you're a team like the Arizona Cardinals, who's trying to reset that foundation with LaFleur and, go in a different direction. You've got some veteran quarterbacks on the roster, and you think, all right, we'll take a second-round flyer that's a little bit more palatable. We'll give up that year of control for the lack of urgency that's then there to try and get this guy on the field. The Steelers are always in need of a long-term answer at the quarterback position. So I think any of those teams that, have a pick in the high to middle part of the second round that are looking for a quarterback of the future but don't want to burn first-round capital, knowing that next year's kind of earmarked, again, is the year, the same way this year was before it all blew up in our faces during college football season, and say, all right, that's a lower stakes commitment that maybe we can stomach.
Mike Golic Jr. with Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. When you look at Francis Mauigoa as a former offensive lineman, what traits do you see that you like, and break down some of his game, the offensive tackle from Miami, his past season?
Yeah, I said, like, drafting rare body types up front for offensive and defensive line is usually a pretty good way to go. Like, I want guys that, can do things that most of the rest of us never dreamed of. And I look at him, the explosive athleticism within the confines of what his position asks for a guy of that size is special. Like lower body power, watching him push to a spot, the way he just eats up bull rushes by existing, which, you talk to guys that make that jump to the next level at offensive tackle, and a lot of them will say, first and foremost, you got to be able to stop the bull rush, or you're just going to see that all day long. These guys are big, fast, and strong. They'll go speed to power, and they'll hurt you bad. I know the conversation around arm length for him, for Spencer Fano out of Utah, becomes a part of this. That's why some people have wondered, could these be guys with guard potential, things like that. Like, I think overall with Mauigoa, there are still some things technically I would like to see in terms of his bend, how he turns all of that, size and movement ability into more consistent power in the run game so he can really go and affect games the way I think he's capable of. And in the right hands, he's a guy with special ability at that position that I think especially, we think of maybe dated versions at this point, but what a traditional NFL right tackle looks like. And it is a bit more of your road grader, even though this guy, I think, can move feet with the best of them.
On the other side of the ball, as far as defensive tackles go, there's not a lot of them in the first round. Where are the beefy boys as far as defensive tackles go in the first round?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. This just kind of isn't that year necessarily for that position group. There's guys we talk about rare upside and ability, and listen, the product of circumstance, right? Like, we have to acknowledge that a guy like Caleb Banks, because of the injury and the way that his last season went, was going to be a difficult eval. You go back to the 2024 tape, and a lot of people see stuff that they really liked out of a guy that is just built different, moves different than so many of these guys. And so it's a draft where overall we kind of knew, hey, there is a ton of depth and high-end talent at edge, at wide receiver, and everywhere else it's going to have to kind of be, how does this guy project with our scheme? What do we think the upside is in terms of our coaching and our room's ability to take a guy like Caleb Banks and try and get the most out of him in that position? And then how do we go from there? So that's where the scouts and personnel department got to go and do their job, even if maybe this year's brand of beef, not quite like the others where we've had D tackles that have high-end pass rush wiggle, that have the ability to go out there and with a quick first step affect the game. If that's not this group necessarily across the board, that's fine. But we know in this league right now, as much as things have spread out, that rushing attack as an emphasis has come back to try and take advantage of lighter defenses, especially with all the too high stuff around the league. So what do you need? You need linebackers that can run and still hit, and you need defensive tackles that have enough to stay on the field in some potential third down situations, but also can be in lighter boxes and eat up space for you.
You know, Mike and Michael Jr. with Bleck Abdalla, that brings up the player Caleb Downs, which we've seen some draft boards suggest that he's the best player in the draft or one of the best players, like one or two. A safety, though, usually is not someone that's getting a huge payday for their second contract. What do you think of, based on what you were just saying and the way defenses are reacting to offense, what's the value of a safety who perhaps can kind of play all over the field and do more than just be out there as a defensive back?
Yeah, and with Caleb, it's interesting, too, because this isn't like the, Kyle Hamilton, Nicky Manwari situation where with that versatility also comes a unique set of physical gifts. Caleb Downs is still a gifted physical player, but he's not, a giant that also manages to go out there and fly around like a lot of those guys do. And I think the biggest issue for Caleb is the hallmark of his game is consistency. Like when I watched him, and I'm by no means an expert on defensive back play, but when you watch him, you see a guy who is always where he's supposed to be. Always able to erase the mistakes of his teammates. That was one of the gifts Harrison Smith, who was my former teammate at Notre Dame, had, was always there to erase the mistakes of others. But with Caleb, it's not really as many splash plays that show up on that tend to be the sexier thing that sells with guys in his spot. But I look at him like Pat Surtain II coming out of Alabama, to me, was very similar in that he always seemed to have really quiet feet. He looked like he was where he was supposed to be. Everything was clean by the books. And that was sort of Caleb Downs. There wasn't a lot of missed tackles. This was a guy that was filling the right spots and you could put all over. So I have a high level of confidence in him. I had this conversation with Dominique Foxworth, though, former NFL defensive back, and he was talking about what he likes. He kind of likes a defensive back who's willing to take all that knowledge and take a few more risks. And I said, Caleb Downs plays a little bit too much like an oldest child, right? He's doing everything by the books. Like, hey, go stay out late with your friends. Get caught coming home after curfew a little bit. Try and jump a route and take one to the house. Try and get down there behind the line of scrimmage because you've got such a high football IQ and you put it in use in so many other areas.
You talked about a couple of the other offensive tackles. A guy that I've seen on a few different mock drafts that is kind of all over the place in the first round, in like the middle of the teens to the low 20s, is Caden Proctor out of Alabama. What do you see from him, and why is he kind of all over the place in some of these mock drafts?
Yeah, Caden's a really interesting guy. Came into college with so much fanfare, kind of had the will he won't. He almost went back from Alabama to Iowa, where he's from and was originally committed. So uniquely gifted. I think at times played a little bit heavier. He's a guy that seems to naturally carry a lot of weight. And you saw the areas where he struggled tended to be speed on the perimeter. When he was challenged upfield quickly, sometimes pushing to that spot became difficult. Technically, he does a lot of things well. He kind of like Francis at times, I think, with all that size, doesn't always transfer it into as much power in the run as you'd expect. But the thing I like a lot about Kalen, and the thing that I think is underrated going in, especially in the high part of the NFL draft for linemen, where you want to get these guys in the field early, technically sound. Like, it looks the right way. He's got good eyes and understanding. When I watch him and I see movement up front, you can follow his eyes to where he knows he's supposed to be. He sets with an awareness of the things that he's seeing pre-snap and then is able to turn that into production post-snap. And I think there's a lot of value in that for a guy that, again, maybe with all that size and trouble with speed, maybe he's another guy that's a candidate to kick in and play a little guard. If not, first get his crack out at tackle. But I think maybe if he trims down a little bit, the foot speed goes up some to match what I think is technique that is ready for the next level and an awareness that certainly shows you a lot of IQ. It's a player with a lot to like, even if he is imperfect, kind of like the rest of this tackle class.
Michael Jr. with Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Mike, what are the Steelers going to do, and will Aaron Rodgers play this season? We keep talking about it. When is he going to let the Steelers know when he's going to play? What do you think happens there?
I ultimately think he comes back. I think the Steelers seem pretty comfortable with this. We know Aaron Rodgers, especially in recent years, has really prioritized getting away in the off seasons, going off the grid, going on these sort of spiritual journeys. We know he's a married man now, so that comes with other responsibilities. He's a guy that's in the later stages of his career really taken a different approach to a lot of this. So I ultimately think, though, based on what we saw last year, which is at times a guy that still flashed you some of that fastball, that still looked like maybe at times there was some stuff there, even though we know the athleticism is a far cry from where it used to be. I ultimately think he's probably going to come back. The relationship with Mike McCarthy is an interesting one because we know it didn't end or seemingly end on the best terms in Green Bay, but I think he's going to be there, and I still don't know if that's necessarily the best thing for the Steelers, who I do think admirable in that they chase it every year, but realistically probably due for a harder reset than they're comfortable with over on the South Side.
Yeah, they never do that. It's always they're just good enough to miss out on like a high-profile quarterback prospect. Mike, we really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today.
Definitely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There is Mike Golic Jr. hanging out with Bleck Abdalla. He's outstanding. He works on college football broadcasts for TNT throughout the fall. Also, the Echoes podcast covering Notre Dame. He and his dad do a great job covering the NFL as well. And Senior was on the show about a month ago.
Yeah.
When we were talking NFL playoffs and getting ready for the Westwood One side of playoffs here on Westwood One Sports.
Absolutely. And it's good to see that there is some good offensive tackle names. And, like we talked about, defensive tackle, there's maybe one or even none going to be taken in the first round just because that position isn't really good this year in this draft. It's just not a valuable position this year.
I mean, that's one. We also have pointed to the quarterbacks, right? Like, if you need a quarterback, this is not your time to do it.
Yeah.
And so if you're a team like Pittsburgh, like we were talking about, you kind of have to hope that Rodgers is coming back. Otherwise, you don't really have anything.
Yeah.
Will Howard? That's the answer. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't return, like that's not really an answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know you love Mike McCarthy. We understand. I've listened to you talk about Mike McCarthy.
I don't like Will Howard.
For the savior for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't like Will Howard.
You better hope that McCarthy's there for at least 3 or 4 seasons. Because if he's only 2 seasons, then you botched this.
No, I didn't botch anything.
Yes, you did.
Why?
Yes,
you honestly think
Steeler
that
head coach has to be there for decades.
You better hope that John Harbaugh wins something in New York with the Giants.
They'll be fine.
Oh, they will be?
They'll be fine.
With a quarterback that likes to Ralph Wiggum himself through walls, that has been in concussion protocol in half the games he's played in?
All right, easy.
What?
Easy.
What?
I knew that would fire you up.
What?
Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Where will A.J. Brown get traded to? Well, we heard from the Patriots GM, Elliott Wolf. Howie Roseman, Eagles GM, has responded. What's the latest? We'll fill you in coming up next.
The NFL Draft is next Thursday, and we'll be backstage talking to the draft picks just minutes after getting selected. The biggest storylines, the news you need to know from your home of the NFL, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Yesterday, the Patriots GM, Elliott Wolf, met the media. He was asked about A.J. Brown because A.J. Brown is a player that we've been watching, and I think at some point here in the offseason, he will be traded from the Philadelphia Eagles. So yesterday, when Elliott Wolf met with the media, this was what he said in regards to A.J. Brown. Take a listen.
You guys keeping the door open with the Eagles for A.J. Brown?
No Gonzalez update other than I'll continue to publicly say that we want Christian here. And again, he's under contract, so we would expect that. But as far as players on other teams, again, going to keep the door open to anything that we think may improve our roster, whether that's with the player you mentioned or other players.
All right, so there you go. Elliott Wolf, GM of the Patriots. That's what GM says, right? Like, there's nothing wrong there. And, yeah, you keep the door open. You want to improve your roster.
Yeah.
makes total sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't talk about other players while they're on a roster.
Tampering.
To me, the Patriots would be a perfect destination.
Yeah.
For A.J. Brown. That would make a lot of sense to me. So today, Howie Roseman got a chance to meet with the media in Philadelphia. This is what Howie Roseman had to say when he was asked about the A.J. Brown situation.
What does that mean for A.J. Brown? Like, do you feel like if he is traded, you have depth there at wide receiver? Like, how
What do you
does
think
that...
the odds are that I'm answering this question any different than I answered anywhere else? Like, really? Like, do you think that's like 50%? Do you think that's 75%?
I felt like I needed to just need to ask.
A.J. Brown's an Eagle.
A.J. Brown's an Eagle. Which is also a true statement and how a GM should respond to that question.
Yeah.
GMs are not going to tell you what they're actively working on.
No.
They're not going to say that.
Yeah.
Howie Roseman's not wrong. He is an Eagle.
He is very much an Eagle right now.
And he's not going to answer that question.
No, he's not going to answer that question. And
and so that's the latest. That's from Howie Roseman and then also from Elliot Wolf, the GM of the Patriots. So there you go.
Thanks for nothing, guys.
Well, I mean, the reporters are doing their part. They had to ask. The GMs are also doing their part. They're not going to answer. Here's the question. We're not going to answer. All right. I'm glad that we all settled that. We all got together to do this. Great.
Well, they have to. They have to get together and do this.
I know. And they're meeting the media to preview the draft, to talk about draft prospects. Also, the Eagles just traded for Wicks, so they traded for a wide receiver. So, like, that's what the conversation's about. And it's a nice try and say, hey, you just trade for a wide receiver. Is your depth okay in case A.J. Brown's no longer there? I like it. And I like the style from the reporter.
And he's not going to answer the question. And, again, when you're talking about the Patriots specifically, they're really the only team that has been linked to the Eagles. And it's because A.J. Brown has played for Mike Vrabel in Tennessee, and they have the space. They have that 31st pick that you could trade now. They could also move picks next year if this is post-June 1st because it makes sense monetarily for the Eagles to do this post-June 1st because they would save money against the cap. They would do all that post-June 1st trade stuff that would happen. This makes more sense for the Eagles to do it later. It makes more sense for the Eagles also. You have to weigh what's better for the Eagles now. I think the Eagles want to save more money than they do use that pick because talking to Mike Golic Jr., as we just did a few moments ago, talking to Frank Schwab, as we did yesterday, like the draft just isn't getting a 31st pick this year. Obviously, you're getting A.J. Brown. If you're the Patriots, that's better than having the 31st pick. But if you're the Eagles, having the 31st pick this year might not be as valuable as getting a second-round pick next year.
Right.
That might be more valuable because the talent and the depth is going to be better next year. So you might want to wait and do this after June 1st. So we'll see what they do. But as Howie Roseman said, A.J. Brown's an Eagle.
He's an Eagle.
And he is. He's not going to answer that question right now.
At least for today, he is an Eagle. Did they ask about the hit piece on Jalen Hurts that was published last week?
Let's see.
I don't think he was asked about that.
Let's see.
Hit piece on Jalen Hurts. Who's the leak within the organization? Who's leaking this to ESPN to try and make our quarterback look bad? Who's doing this? Disgruntled coaches no longer there? That's usually how it works.
He was asked about it.
What did he say?
We have some faults. One of them is not being direct and honest with our players. If we have any issue with any of our players, we talk to them directly. From mine, Nick, and Jeffrey's perspective, we're not hiding behind anything. We will talk to our players directly. I think it's unfair to have these articles written, but I understand it's what sells at this point. I think it's unfortunate. What?
So I was right.
No, you weren't. He said they don't hide behind anything. Because he's...
No. But he is saying that response from Howie Roseman is placing blame on the coaching staff.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How is it not?
Read it again.
We have some faults. One of them is not being direct and honest with our players.
Boom. Stop. Right there.
Maybe
That's the coaching staff.
How is that on the coaching staff?
If they're squawking to sources to put a hit piece out on ESPN.com instead of talking directly to the players like Jalen Hurts. I'm just
The
saying.
one squawking.
I said coaches. I'm saying coaches.
Okay.
When we were talking about this earlier, this same exact story, I said that, where's the blame for Sirianni and the coaching staff if the problem is Jalen Hurts? The problem is A.J. Brown. It's always the problem is the players.
Mm-hmm.
What about the coaches?
Sirianni's not
Roseman just said right there.
Sirianni's
we
not
need
the
to do
one.
a better job talking to the players.
Sirianni's not the one that went out for an entire half and didn't complete a pass because he's changing routes left and right.
Of course.
Okay.
Listen,
Howie Rose.
I'm not here to defend Jalen Hurts. I just think it's interesting that Sirianni is apparently some god to coaching now.
I'm not saying he is. What I'm saying is if you look at the players, A.J. Brown's reading novels on the sideline, okay, and Jalen Hurts is freelancing in the huddle. When a coach can't control that, yes, it's his problem. At the same time, he can't go into the huddle and tell the quarterback to stop freelancing. You can't bench Jalen Hurts. You can't bench A.J. Brown.
You could.
You'll lose games and then you're going to get fired.
You could.
Okay, and then he's going to lose games and get fired.
I feel like that sounds like the coaching staff needs to do a better job than anything. That quote from Roseman. That's what it sounds like to me, listening to that quote.
I think that it's placing blame on all of them. They're all accepting blame. Me, Nick, and Jeffrey's perspective, we're not hiding behind anything.
Yeah.
All of them.
Okay, they're all to blame then.
They are.
It's a good offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, man. Cowboys fans are loving this.
Right. Absolutely.
Loving this.
Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Should you and I be concerned about a possible curse? Over the weekend, Coachella took place in California, and we talked about yesterday on the show, Justin Bieber. He was pulling up YouTube videos and having a sing-along to his videos during the performance. I would be pissed if the act that I went to see was doing that throughout the concert. Whatever. I get it. It was 10 minutes. Okay, cool. Whatever. Sure.
He also used a backing track for a lot of his songs, something that I dislike, but whatever. Yeah.
So that's not what I want to bring up here. I'm just establishing that we talked about this yesterday, that Coachella is going on. Did you see by chance video footage of a certain quarterback hanging out with the Kardashians before the Justin Bieber show at Coachella on Saturday? You and I are broadcasting live from Chicago. And the hope and savior to all of our sports fandom is in the right arm of Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
It's all that matters in Chicago sports is whether or not Caleb Williams will be a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Because hopefully one day he will save the Bears and get them back to a Super Bowl, right? That's all we care about here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the videos going around online from Saturday at Coachella where Caleb Williams was hanging out with the Kardashian crew?
I did. In a cabana type setting.
Yes.
At Coachella.
All of the Kardashians were there.
All of the
Kim.
All the sisters.
The two that are about the same age that have beauty products that are out there.
Kendall and
Kylie. I didn't see Chloe. Was Chloe there?
Don't know. She looks different now, so I wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
that was the face work.
Snip snap.
Yeah, yes. That was that sound effect.
Yeah.
That was the I'm getting work done on my face.
Yeah.
Yes. She does look different. Correct.
She looks different. I will say it's concerning. It's not concerning yet. It's not concerning yet.
So the video is of Caleb Williams hanging out with all of the Kardashians. Hailey Bieber was in the group.
Yes.
Little Chalamet was there. Timothy Chalamet was there. Lewis Hamilton was there.
Okay.
Because all the boyfriends of the Kardashians were there.
Okay, so
they were there, and Caleb was there with all of them.
Here's the thing.
Should we be concerned that perhaps a Kardashian curse will take hold of Caleb Williams?
I'm not concerned yet.
Thank you.
Because...
Why?
As of right now, all of the Kendalls and the Kylies... I believe Kim. I'm not sure.
Kim was there, yes, with Lewis Hamilton.
Okay, so yes, with Lewis Hamilton. That's the key here. They're all booed up.
Okay, so you're saying because he's a friend of the group.
He's a friend of the group.
The curse will not latch on and take him.
No, I hope not.
So if one of them becomes single, like if Kendall becomes
then I'm
single.
worried. I'm
it's
worried.
a problem.
Then I'm worried. Is Kendall with someone right now?
Isn't Kendall the one that has always loosely dated Dylan Booker? Isn't
thought
that the
so.
combination?
I think so.
I'm not up on the hot gossip when it comes to Hollywood starlets and who they're dating.
Apparently, Kendall Jenner is with Jacob Elordi now.
Oh, that's right. He was there too.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein was a part of the group.
Okay, all right.
Yes, he was standing there too in the group.
Okay, so
Elordi.
Okay, so if Elordi's there, then I feel like we're good.
Okay.
So if Hamilton's there, Chalamet's there, Elordi's there.
If one of those guys goes missing and Caleb is still hanging around, we should get concerned.
Then we got to be concerned. As long as he's fifth wheeling. Because
so-
Haley was there.
Well, right. She was there to support Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. What we have to worry about was Chloe there.
I didn't see her. I saw that it was the younger two sisters and Kim.
Okay.
And I will say, like, and I think sports fans know, like, for the amount of athletes that have dated Kardashians, usually their careers don't go up after the date.
Yeah.
Right? Like, after they date the Kardashian, they don't usually get better, right?
She's not dating anybody right now.
But Elordi was there. He was definitely there.
No. I'm talking about Chloe.
Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
Chloe's not dating anyone right now, according to the internet.
I mean, Caleb's much younger than Chloe, right?
That never
doesn't
stopped
matter.
her. That never stopped
Laura?
her.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
That doesn't stop her?
You
That
should be
doesn't stop?
concerned. I'm concerned.
Age is but a number.
No.
Age is but a number.
Laura, are you concerned that Caleb was seen with the Kardashians on Saturday?
Yes, I'm praying for. I'm praying for all of you guys.
Do you think that they were vetting Caleb for Chloe?
Maybe for their
is this?
mom.
Get out?
Maybe
I don't
for their
know.
mom.
Yes, it is. With the Kardashians, yes, it is. It literally is.
They're like Allison Williams?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
Get Out?
It absolutely is.
Raj wants us to point out that if Caleb ends up on the cover of Madden Football, could the two curses counteract and balance each other out?
I think so. I think that would be the two curses would offshoot each other.
One curse offsets another curse, and there's no curse.
Yeah,
I think
right.
so.
And then Super Bowl's in Chicago.
I hope so.
And then Caleb Williams, the greatest athlete in the city since Jordan.
Indiana, but yes.
Wouldn't that be something? What do you mean, Indiana?
That's where they
haven't done anything. The mayor came out. This is super local Chicago conversation. The mayor came out last week and was like, "We want a last ditch effort to put a stadium in the city."
Kick rocks.
And nobody responded to him.
I didn't even know he said that.
It's
until
like,
you said
dude,
it.
what are you doing? Yeah, he did last week. He went on a little media tour trying to say that
Little
there's a
media tour?
last ditch effort. Come on, guy.
All right. But is
the
he like the
worst.
Blues Brothers in the car? Just
He's
like,
awful.
we want a last ditch effort.
I mean, we're not talking Chicago politics.
So wait,
but
Abdallah,
like, boy.
which one isn't dating someone right now? Which one is not?
Chloe.
Just
According
Chloe.
to the
Okay.
internet, Chloe.
Okay.
Chloe with the new face.
She's focusing on her kids.
Okay, I want to make sure it wasn't Kendall because she's got the starting
Kendall.
five. Have you guys ever seen that shirt? The Kendall starting
Yeah.
five. I don't want
And
Caleb
Kendall's-
to
Kendall's
work a
the one-
football angle.
Yeah, Kendall's the one who
She's
was
with
dating
Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, she was dating Dylan Booker for a long time.
Yeah, she
right?
was. Yeah. But according to the internet, she's been seen gallivanting with Jacob Elordi. And if he was in the Coachella cabana,
Yes, they were
Do you
all
know
there.
the starting five, Abdallah? Do you know Kendall's starting five?
well, Booker,
Well, I
Yep.
said that.
I know. I don't know the rest of them. I don't follow the Kardashians, so
Blake Griffin, Kyle
Blake?
Kuzma, Ben Simmons, Jordan Clarkson.
we're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, half of that lineup can't shoot.
Well, neither can. I mean, I saw.
My God.
Okay, here's the thing. They
Black with the
besides
line of the
Reggie
day.
Bush, they tend to stay away from football players. Are we good? Because we know that Caleb
Well,
can't shoot. I saw the 3-point contest.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. I saw video footage last week of Caleb Williams and every single Chicago Bears receiver with Caleb Williams working out at USC.
I know.
Last week.
He's in LA.
Colson Loveland, Roma Dunze, they were all there. Luther Burden, they were all there in Los Angeles working out with Caleb at USC. So we got to keep our eyes on Colson Loveland.
Back it up.
I feel like
Back it up.
Colson
Colson
Loveland
Loveland.
is the one that Chloe would sink her teeth into, if you pardon the expression.
Oh.
Raj?
Oh, no.
I'm out.
Oh, no.
It's pollen season here, but a dirty car doesn't have to be in this time of year. Wash it away with Tidal Wave Auto Spa for a quick wash and that clean car happy feeling. Find a location at TidalWaveAutospa.com. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. The play-in round starts tonight in the NBA. We'll talk about that coming up next.
Who is the best edge rusher in the draft? Ohio State's Arvell Reese or Texas Tech's David Bailey? They're both expected to go in the top 5. You ready for this? The NFL Draft is next week. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
You can listen to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Like and subscribe. Also to our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Bleck and Abdalla Show right there on YouTube. The live stream is up each and every day. And also new content posted daily on our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Thanks to Mike Golic for joining Mike Golic Jr. for joining the show earlier today. Jim Rome coming up at 3 o'clock in about 13 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. Thanks to Raj and Laura for producing today's show. Bleck and Abdalla will be back tomorrow from noon to 3 Eastern right here on Westwood One Sports. Tonight, the NBA play-in round begins. The playoffs start on Saturday, but the play-in round starts tonight. The first matchup, Heat at Hornets, 7:30. And then the Blazers and the Suns at 10 o'clock. The Heat-Hornets game is a 10-9 matchup. So the loser of that game is eliminated, and they are sent home. The second game this evening, Blazers-Suns, is an 8-7 matchup. So the winner of that game will select and be locked in as the 7th seed to face off against the San Antonio Spurs in the first round of the playoffs. And then the loser will get a second crack to stay alive and become the 8th seed here in the play-in round. So the play-in round tonight, it's another one of those gimmicks that Adam Silver has come up with, trying to attract interest and fans to get behind. And I don't think people really enjoy this. I don't like it. I think that you could just start the playoffs 1 through 8. You don't need the games tonight. And for the response for someone to say, hey, but what would we do for a week? Extend the season until Wednesday.
Yeah.
Have the regular season end on Wednesday. You have 2 days off and start the playoffs on Saturday. That doesn't seem like much of a problem to me.
Or start the playoffs earlier.
So
Like why are you not starting the playoffs earlier?
Well, the reason you don't do that is you're setting the date for the finals and then working back from there.
I understand.
So they have an end date for Game 7 of the finals being whatever it is this year. I'm guessing it's probably like June 20th, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the 21st because I think the 19th is a Friday, so it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Whatever that Sunday in June where the NBA Finals would end is where they kind of push everything off of.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. You could start the playoffs earlier, or you could start the season a week later.
Mm-hmm.
You could also just have more time off in the season, and it won't be that big of a deal, and you would get to it, so it would cover it up. So playing games tonight, are you pumped? Are you excited? You ready to go?
No.
Okay, that's a ringing endorsement for Adam Silver.
No, I mean, look, I think he's slowly ruining the NBA and the product, and especially the postseason, because there's no intrigue for these games. I think whoever ends up facing the Spurs or the Thunder is just going to get decimated, and the Spurs and Thunder are going to end up moving on, obviously. I think it's fun for the Hornets and their fans because they're a young up-and-coming team that is going to have a decent chance, I think, against the Pistons. And I think they're going to beat the Heat. They're 5.5-point favorites on DraftKings. I think that's a good matchup for them. They're going to win that game. And the Heat are always in the play-in tournament. Like, their fans have to just be completely disappointed that this is always what they're in and what they are. They're just perpetually in the play-in tournament. They're never better than this. They're never worse than this. Why are they always in this position? Cool. You had Bam Adebayo's 83-point game. That's the highlight of your season.
Ugh.
And now you're going to lose to the Hornets and miss out on the actual playoffs.
So tomorrow's games, Magic, 76ers, Warriors, and the Clippers, all four of those teams, to some degree, have had disappointing seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Clippers trading away James Harden halfway through, the Warriors dealing with lots of injuries, the 76ers dealing with injuries, and the Orlando Magic, they were supposed to be the new, fun, great team this season. They make the move in the offseason for Desmond Bane. They were supposed to be the team that was surprising everyone in the Eastern Conference. Instead, it was Toronto. Toronto is the 5 seed. That's the surprise. So those are the games tomorrow. Tonight's games, like Abdalla said, when you're looking at the teams and you want to see some excitement, like for the Hornets hosting this game tonight, this is cool. And for Hornets fans, I get it. I agree with your assessment with the Heat. The Heat should want more than being just in the play-in round each and every year. The Trailblazers tonight, this is cool. Mm-hmm. It was unexpected that you would get to this point to have this much success, to go over 500 for this season. 42-40, that's pretty cool. So with Portland and with Charlotte, it's cool. For Phoenix, for Miami, for the 4 teams playing tomorrow, it just is a constellation where you're fighting to get into the playoffs, and we will watch the games. This isn't a conversation to suggest that people won't watch.
No.
People are going to watch.
Yeah.
Unless you're a diehard baseball fan tonight, there's not anything else on. So this is what
playoff
you're going.
Basketball.
Playoff basketball.
Play-in basketball.
It'll be Prime Video, and I think people will be really excited, especially in Charlotte, as they will host the game tonight against the Miami Heat. The Hornets went 44-38 on the season. Have you ever seen the guy online? His name is Carolina Mike.
Oh.
He makes little songs for his teams, his favorite Carolina teams, the Charlotte Hornets, the Carolina Panthers. He has a new song for tonight's game. Let's take a listen to Carolina Mike.
What up, party people? I got a question. You ready to show up and show out for your Charlotte Hornets as they enter the play-in tournament? Yeah, me too. So wherever you're at in the world, I need you to take your phone, take it off mute, turn the volume up real loud, and show it to the person next to you. Come on, let's go. Spend $150,000 on a b-ball team. Wait a minute, that's not enough to buy a team. Spend $150,000 on a tricked out suite. Get myself something good to eat. Build a basketball court outside my house, but the HOA's gonna make me tear it down. Might get me a Hornets founder suite. I mean all access, I want VIP. I get some retro Air Jordan 1 low, so I can dunk the basketball in the air for show. I might get Hugo and a honeybee, so they can do this dance right here with me. I'ma get that high mentality, straight buzzing in the Queen City CLT. Come on, Hornets, it's time to get down. Stand up, Charlotte, this is your town. If you
CLT.
had 150,000. If you had 150,000. All right, Hornets fans, you know what to do. It's time to show up and show out. They've given it their all year. Now it's time for us to give our all.
Oh, yes, I always love that.
Of this amazing
Don't
team.
you love
Let's
that?
go get
Awesome.
it.
The players gave their all. Now it's time for the fans to give their all.
Bring 150,000 to the
Carolina
stadium.
Mike. How would you describe the dance moves that Carolina Mike brings to the table with this video?
Amazing.
Swaying back and forth?
Swaying back and forth. Axl Rose-esque.
Slower, though.
Yeah,
Axl's a little quicker with that.
Yeah, well, not now. Not now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Axl Rose now.
I didn't say rounder.
Well, yeah, well.
I broke Abdalla. I broke it. It took the entire show. He is broken.
Rounder.
It's Bleck Abdalla. Jim Rome and the Jim Rome Show is coming up next here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.